Hey, what's going on, everybody? My name is Corey, better known as the Seaman, and I want to welcome you to another edition of the Seaman's Cinema Sitdown as we continue on my catch-up journey, man. So many things happened, and things that I either needed to see or did get to see and hadn't had a chance to sit down and talk about. There's just so many, and this was one of those catch-up and go out to the movie theater experiences. This is a movie that when the original trailer dropped, I got super psyched because Dev Patel was in it. It looked stunning, and it looked like it was going to play like one of them creepy A24 horror movies. And then I learned what the movie was about, which is Sir Gawain and the poem of Sir Gawain and the Green Knight, and this is an Arthurian legend. And then I got even more excited, and I gotta say, it was well worth the wait. Oh man, dude, this thing is so good. Like, it's so good. It's not gonna be for everybody. Like, this won't hit for everyone. But if this is your type of movie, oh man, are you going to enjoy the heck out of it. What am I talking about? Why don't you pull up a chair, take a seat. We're getting ready to dive in, spoiler free, into The Green Knight. What a cool movie, man. Like, it's not going to work for everyone because it is a super, super slow burn. And while it is an Arthurian piece of legend, it doesn't play like most Arthurian movies. There's not a lot of sword fighting. There's not battles. There's not, like, those aren't the things that are important. This is a very internal, personal story to Sir Gawain, the nephew of King Arthur. And it just hit exactly what I was hoping for, man. Like, it keeps you on edge. It keeps you guessing. I was not familiar with the poem prior to the movie, but from what I understand, I mean, this is a journey of Sir Gawain, finding his courage and his bravery, and achieving the honor that he's looking for. And the journey that he goes on is very personal. And from what I understand, the poem makes you, as a reader, understand that Sir Gawain, who's known for his bravery, wasn't the ideal brave person at the beginning. He had to go through some stuff to find that. And from what I understand in the poem, he shows bravery in almost every moment, but also shows a detraction from that in every moment. And understanding that, and then seeing what writer-director David Lowrey does from an adaptation standpoint, wow, did he knock it out of the ballpark, because he nails just that premise. Like, every moment of the movie that you were with Gawain, played by the phenomenal Dev Patel, he is showing you something that does show some courage or some bravery, but also shows the fear and the child, like, there are moments in life where fear gets you to a place where you become a child again, and that exists in almost all of the interactions and all of the beats of the story and adventure that Gawain goes on. And it was just masterful to watch that hit from a storytelling perspective and an adaptation perspective. Then you add in, like, everything, from a story times, a male, someone who is destined to be king one day, as being the closest male blood relative to Arthur himself. Like, it places that character in a very male-dominant, very brave, like, where you are expected to be, like, quote-unquote, a man. And he is challenged with that throughout the entire movie. And where it, like, places him and shows you what Gawain is going through from, just his own personal perspective. I thought the story just really, really hit, and specifically toward the end of the movie. I mean, when you're getting into some of the choices and decisions and some of the shame and guilt and bravery, and just, like, this whole combination of, like, showing that you can be the epitome of bravery, which is what Sir Gawain is known for, but not be a perfect representation of that always. You can have these moments of self-doubt and conflict, and just the way that Lowry wrestles with all of these different things throughout the whole story, and where it ultimately brings Gawain by the end. I just thought he nailed it, and then that story stuff aside, what he does behind the camera is just mind-blowing. Like, this is some of the best cinematography you're going to see all year. It's just so impressive to watch visually. And when you understand that this is, a story about Gawain and his journey, to finding his honor, there's not a lot of dialogue in the movie. I like the way that Lowrey brings in different characters for, Gawain to meet along the way of his journey getting to the Green Knight. But it's a lot of Gawain by himself and not a lot of dialogue. And there's so much visual storytelling. And Lowrey just knocks that stuff out of the park. I mean, whether it's the way that he is setting his camera, where he's putting his camera, how he's moving his camera, and just pulling you along. Like I said, it's a slow burn, but the pacing is never off in the movie. And whether it's, how he's moving the camera or how they've created this world, the set and production design is stellar. And while I think a lot of it is taking place in the real world in nature, just the way that they build these different places for Gawain to go, man, it just hits visually over and over and over again. And whether there's special effects or practical effects being used, it just all is gorgeous to look at and keeps you invested and involved and gripped the whole movie just visually. And then when you talk about, like, character design, the Green Knight is stellar looking. Like, this is, a giant tree-looking type creature. And yet the way the makeup is played and the way Lowrey plays with the character, like, he keeps him at a distance more often than not early in the movie. And then when you get to the end, you're way closer in on him. There's a lot more close-ups and tight visuals as he's, having his interactions with Gawain at the end. And anytime that he does come in, the way the makeup moves and allows the person underneath it, who is, of course, Ralph Ineson, who tremendous performance. And while his voice is perfect for the character, his physical acting and facial expressions and the way that's captured within the concept of the character design just worked so well. It created so much depth and realness to the character that when, like, you're having these scenes, you are terrified at the beginning and then also terrified and on edge and interested in where you're going with this character and what he's going to do. And sound design too is spectacular. I mean, when he moves at all, like, you feel the creaking and cracking of like wood and trees. And throughout the whole movie, the sound design is excellent, and the score, oh, so good. Like, all of the technical elements are perfect in this movie. And I think just from a standpoint of, like, not getting to see Arthurian typical movie things, right, like sword fights or battles, this movie might not hit for everybody. But in the story that it is telling, I think Lowrey is superb start to finish. And as good as Lowrey is and the crafting of the film is, it only works if you have a lead that can do all the things that are asked of him and can carry this movie start to finish. And Dev Patel is 100% that guy. He's so freaking good. I say it every time he's in a movie. I don't understand how this kid is not bigger, because he is easily one of the most talented people in Hollywood. And what he does performance-wise in this movie, it's just stellar work, man. Like, whether he's interacting with other characters or the different dialogues or things that he's going through, all of that is stellar. But the physical performance is amazing. I mean, the interactions that you get from Gawain through the whole movie paint a picture of what this character is, and you don't get that unless you can see what he is at the very beginning, what he is when he's brought in front of, King Arthur and his court, which, by the way, while the movie doesn't traditionally do Arthurian things, it gives you all the Arthurian stuff you want. And all I'll say without spoiling is King Arthur's court is fantastic, and, like, the concept for the round table, oh, like, that stuff I was loving. And the interactions that Patel has with Arthur, who's an older Arthur, who's toward the end of his run as king, those interactions are just fascinating on their own because of where Arthur is positioned. But watching Patel shift his attitude and how confident he is in the way he interacts with people when he's in front of the king, or how he manages up the gumption to challenge the Green Knight and then be confused and conflicted and then powerful and having these moments of bravery or just things that he's unsure of. They all pop because that physical performance is amazing. And then as he goes on this journey, whether it's the different people that he interacts with as he's moving along. I mean, he meets some odd characters led by Barry Keoghan, who's stellar. Every time that kid also is in a movie, I'm always super interested in what he's doing performance-wise. And what he does with his character here is excellent. But like where he comes across him on this field where all these different people have been killed in battle, like his interactions and the way that he first interacts and then later learns things about him that change how he interacts with Keoghan's character. All of this just conflict and internal struggle that Patel's going through the whole movie just hits time and time again. And by the time you get to the end, where he takes it physically when he is in front of the Green Knight for the second time, wow, dude! Like the night and day, just shades of what you get from Gawain are amazing. And it's just all executed by Patel perfectly. And when you surround him with the cast that you surround him with, holy cow! I mean, you got Alicia Vikander, who plays a character named Essel, who's kind of like his girlfriend, but like unofficial girlfriend, it feels like. And how she plays that role and how they utilize her throughout the entire movie. I really enjoy her as Essel, but how she's used throughout the film, she's able to bring different elements of performance in. And there's two very different performances being given that are also like very similar. And how she plays that stuff, specifically with Patel at the end of the movie. Dude, she's just so good. I mean, Joel Edgerton is in here. He is kind of the lord of this castle or manor that Patel comes across at one point during his journey. I love Edgerton, and he has that whole stretch gets very Shakespearean to a degree, like not Shakespearean language. They're saying things, in normal ways for us to understand, but delivered in very Shakespearean ways. And Edgerton just captured that really, really, really well. And then Sean Harris, who plays, he's not listed as Arthur. He just plays the king, but we know he's King Arthur. I thought it was such a fascinating performance. I mean, seeing this older, version of Arthur who needs someone to step up and challenge the Green Knight for him because he just can't do it anymore. It was just such an interesting, nuanced performance, and Harris crushes it to the point where I'm like, David Lowrey, if you ever want to do like a King Arthur story with Sean Harris as the lead, like I would watch the heck out of that, specifically if it was done in this style. And as I mentioned, Ralph Ineson as the Green Knight is just stellar. I mean, the performance and how he gets through all that makeup and prosthetic is just super impressive, and it hits the exact beats that you need to hit. And I think the thing for me that just perfects this movie is its ultimate culmination, that final confrontation with the Green Knight, and the way Lowrey tells that portion of the story, both from a story standpoint and from a visual standpoint, it allows Patel to take you on this journey that is just, it's such a stellar sequence, and it hits perfectly as the exclamation point at the end of the film. Like, you really get this. Everything that the film is built and is discussed and is talking about hits right at the end with this one sequence that's just, man. And I loved every second of this movie. Like, there was just never a moment where I wasn't engaged and just in on everything that was going on. And like I said, it's not going to hit for everybody, but I think it is worth watching if you are a fan of Arthurian legend, or if you're just a fan of film. Like, even if the movie doesn't hit for you the way that it does for me, it's worth watching just from the technical standpoint alone. What Lowrey crafts is just so impressive, and the performance from Patel it's awards worthy. I'll be very interested. This is a movie that could contend if it gets a push come award season, and I'll be interested to see if it does at all. But that's it, man. That's all I gotta say. I really, really enjoyed The Green Knight, which means it's time for a score. So let's get the old C-Maniacs up there, the boys. As I said, Lowrey is just masterful start to finish with this thing, from its technical standpoints to its storytelling, to just the way he captures and builds this world. It's such a fascinating way to tell a story set in this world, and I would like to see more of it, to be honest with you. Dev Patel, tremendous. I mean, his performance with the actors that he comes across throughout the entire movie is stellar, but his singular performance, his physical performance, and the change and evolution of the character that he takes Gawain on is just stellar, and everybody that's in this cast-wise around him brings strong performances. Production value is there. The Green Knight hits in so many ways. He's terrifying but fascinating at the same time, and at the end of the day, this is a standout, knockout, perfect movie for me. So C-Man's got to go 5 out of 5 C-Maniacs for The Green Knight. Holy cow, did this one hit for me. It did all the things that I wanted it to do, and I had no issues with anything that it did within the course of the movie. So 5 out of 5 C-Maniacs for the old C-Man. The question is, what do you think? Have you seen The Green Knight? Where do you land? Like I said, this isn't a movie that's going to hit for everybody. So I'll be interested to see how other people take it in and the things that they take away from it. So if you've seen it, please try not to spoil anything, but give me those vibes, the things that you liked or disliked about the movie. And if you haven't seen it, have I intrigued you? Is this something that you think would work for you? Something that you want to try and see? Something that you're now maybe excited for? Is this just not your cup of tea? Anything you're thinking, good, bad, indifferent about The Green Knight, goes down below in the comment section. As always, if you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up. And if you're new, you want to come hang out with the C-Man anytime we're talking movies, TV, trailer reactions, you want to be here for all the other stuff I got to catch up on, you just want to show a little love, support the old C-Man because you dig what I'm doing, and you like my stuff, then I got a real easy way for you to show that love and support. Come join C-Maniac Nation, man. It's easy. All you got to do is jump over there, hit that subscribe button, hit that little bell if you want those alerts. And until next time, for the C-Man's Cinema, sit down! I've been C-Man and I'm signing off. Peace.
Oh, hey, what's going on? You must be sticking around because you're looking for more content featuring this guy. Well, guess what? You're in the right place. You can check out more videos right here and right here. And if you have and you want to come join that C-Maniac Nation, you can hit that subscribe right over there.